Let's take a look at the new eHarmony logo. We're going to learn a couple of ways of doing it. We're going to use the curvature tool for one, and then we'll go off and use more symmetry and actual shapes. To build it, we're going to use the shape builder tool and the eyedropper tool. And let's start with this exercise right now. So under this redraw layer, we're going to start drawing, and in the background I've kept this as a template. Let's just go for physically redrawing it. We're going to use the curvature tool instead of the pen tool. Pretty good for perfect round things like this. And I'm going to zoom in. And you can use spacebar to pan around this. Alright, so in here I have my curvature tool. Just zoom in a bit. The right there. And if you remember the curvature tool, it was click. I'm in the wrong layer. Alright, so here. Double click for a point and a single click for a round. So double click here and press delete. Alright, so use the curvature tool, go to this portion here, double click here, single click here because we have a curve here, double click here because next we have a straight line, and here we're gonna do the double click, double click here, and single click here, and single click here, and there we have our logo. I'll just go and give the fill as none. Alright, okay, seems perfectly fine. Now I'm going to use my line tool, and I'm going to hold shift, and I can give it in particular angle, like this one is perfectly fine for this logo. Alright, so hold shift and release, and I'm going to place this properly over the line. I'm going to just take off the opacity down a bit, and there, properly placed. So I'm going to click, hold alt and drag the line and place it right here, and there, and it's perfectly placed. Let's just give a Control Y and check if this is properly aligned or not. I'll just click and drag and place it exactly over this point. Okay, I think it is proper now. I'll just go back to my drawing, press Control Y. Alright, so click on this line, and increase the opacity to 100%. Select both of these lines and press Control C, Control F, and I'll rotate this holding shift and like so, and place it like so, and use the opacity option to properly place them over the line exactly, and there. Alright, so I will increase the opacity now, and let's just cross check this line if it's properly aligned or not. Just press Ctrl Y and you'll go into outline mode, shift select, or just select here and properly place it over there. Alright, so it's properly placed over there. Control Y. Alright, so just go ahead and select all these shapes. Use your shape builder tool and hold alt to remove these extra shapes around the logo. Release, and they're gone. And just go ahead and use some fill color. Let's just stay red here for now, and click at all the shapes, and these shapes will be filled with one particular color. Select all these shapes and go ahead and remove the stroke. Select the shape, use the eyedropper tool, and sample the logo color. So one by one, I'm going to go just use the eyedropper tool and sample colors one by one. Eyedropper, sample. This is how you steal colors from the existing logo. Use eyedropper, steal, eyedropper, click, select the object, eyedropper, click, select the object, eyedropper, click, eyedropper, and there we have our logo using the curvature tool. I'm just going to go ahead and Control G, that is the group of this shapes. Alright, I'll just put this right here, Control Y, and see if that's accurate or not. Alright, so another way is we can go ahead and use a rectangle tool, and I'll just give it a stroke as black. Click here, and I'm gonna rotate this. Hold shift and rotate this and see if that's accurate here. So I'll just set this out right. Bring down the opacity, or maybe you can use the stroke as inside. I'll just use the stroke as inside now, and also the stroke opacity as well for the better reference. Alright, so this seems like right here, and zoom in here, and there I have my shape intact now. Okay, let's pump up the opacity, and I'll use the line tool. Hold, we can hold, drag. I have to rotate this one as well. I'll just go ahead and delete that, and I'll just hold shift and draw it like just like that. Alright, so now also adjusting this properly, line here, click here and bring up the opacity to 100%. Alright, so click on this option, click and hold shift and click, and then make it curve. I'll just select both of these and bring this down. Hold shift, select both of these and bring it down like so. Bring down the opacity. Alright, so I'll just pump up the opacity, and we can just make this smaller. Because I have used this, it will not make any smaller. Anyway, it's okay if it may keep it like so. So next thing you do is you can use Control C, Control F, that is paste in front, and go ahead and rotate. Now I have a copy. I can rotate this, and I can use the shift arrow key, right arrow key, shift right arrow key to probably align this right. Right, that seems alright. So I have my shape intact. Now I'll just select all these shapes, go ahead and use the shape builder tool. I'll just hold Alt and remove the extra shapes here. Alright, I'll hold Alt and just remove the shapes down there. And now I can use shape builder tool and just click, use a fill color, click, and there I am making the different shapes here. So I have a black heart right now. I'll just select the shape, eyedropper, sample. Select the shape, eyedropper is shortcut I, and sample. Click, I, sample. I'm going to keep repeating these steps throughout this. This one was wrong step. This one, eyedropper, select eyedropper, select eyedropper, sample, select eyedropper, sample, and select eyedropper sample. Alright, so I have made this up. So these are the two ways you can create the logo. And one more is through the shapes. So click and drag, make a square, and just make a go to fill color, give none, just go and rotate this and set this out. Bring down the opacity, hold shift and scale this down. Go to stroke, make it inside. Alright. Using arrow keys to properly align this. And it's a little bit big, so just hold shift and bring it down a little bit. Alright. And here the width is, let's go to properties, see what is the width of this. It's a 50 point. Let's just give it a 50 point for now. 50 point. 50. I'll just give undo. This is too much. Let's link this. 47. And that seems about right. 47 point. I'll just go ahead and use ellipse tool. Double click here. I want a 47 point circle. 47. And 47 height and width. Give OK. It's way too big. I'll just scale it down a bit. That seems about right. A little bit down. How much is the stroke here? Just bring it down there. 0.25. Skip 0.25 here as well. Okay, so it's properly at the center, right? Let's take a copy of this. Hold Alt and drag and place it right here. Right, now you can use this line tools now and hold shift and drag, shift and drag, right, shift and drag. Alright, got this time right. Bring down the opacity and see if that's properly aligned. Right, like so. Okay, bring up the opacity 100%. Select this, bring up opacity 100%. Control C and Control F. I have them. Okay, now I can just rotate this right like so, and zoom in. Place it here. Let's just go and Control Y and see if that's properly aligned or not. So here I would like to have alignment a little bit below. Control Y. Okay. Seems a little off. Place it right here. This is the center, I guess, so I can just use the center point as a reference. Click and go down. Right. Right, I'll just go on ahead and use the shape builder tool, select all these shapes, shape builder, remove the extra shapes from the outside, merge these two and these two, and this and this and this and this here as well. Okay, all right, so alright, so I'm just going to give a fill color black, click, 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 click. I think we have some discrepancies here, so just select and give this a shape. Maybe this would be fine. Alright, this seems to be not so accurate option. Anyway, we got that much right, and just sample the colors. And like these shapes and recolor. I'll just bring it thus up a little bit, just place right, and select both of these shapes, use shape builder tool, click, and these two will be independent now. Alright, so I can just sample it now. Well, that doesn't seem to be not too accurate, but still, in case if you just measure these things, you will find this very, very inaccurate. So these are the three ways that you can create this particular logo.